March 2023 PU monthly report. I'll go through the Squadron 42 one on Week in Review next week when it comes out on the comlink. But as always, they start out with AI tech. And, we saw a lot of AI in the Star Citizen Live this week. And I think most of what I see here is things like that, or nothing really crazy, like fire areas that expand and shrink. We saw that in video form on Star Citizen Live. And what's kind of less interesting actually is this section of the AI updates always showed that there was some cool stuff happening with AI in terms of holding rail guns and things like that. Where's my camera? There's my camera. Okay. I got scared. I thought we lost the camera. Character art, Duster faction. They've been talking about that for a few months now. And then the art team explored the Headhunters and Rough and Ready gangs and prepared handoff documents for the Dusters. Okay. I don't know who the Headhunters are or in Rough and Ready gangs. Probably Pyro gangs would be my guess. Ship art, Argo SRV, along 2 unannounced vehicles, each progressed through the final art stage pass, which includes LODs, damage, and optimization. Hull C received further support, with the team fixing several visual bugs. Blah, 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 blah. White box began on 2 unannounced vehicles, one receiving a flyable in-editor prototype. Because it's going to be in a commercial. That's what that means. A component pass also began for the MISC Freelancer to ensure the component base adhered to the required metrics and open and close properly for the new update for the tractor beam, so that's good. In the U.S., subscriber flare paints inspired by Microtech Crusader and Hurston were created. What about ArcCorp? We got scammed for ArcCorp there. Gray box for a new vehicle approach completion. Some unique maneuvering components were heavily detailed, including the front housings and suspension system. Gray box for the Apoa Santokai is ongoing. I don't know. Nothing really excites me there from that update just yet until they start announcing things. Community. The Scorpius Antares went on sale. Vision Center Racetrack. Team has also been heavily involved in supporting the publishing and player experience teams with the release and ongoing work for 318. Finally, the team has been entrenched in planning and organizing this year's CitizenCon event. There we go. Exciting. Engine. I always skip over Engine. You guys can write a comment and let me know how exciting all this stuff is. But for me, I just want to see the stuff work. Arena Commander features. Now, let me try and figure out a better way to show this to you guys. I think we'll do the windowed React is probably better, and I'll make it a bit bigger. So let's scroll back down and go Arena Commander features. In March, the feature team saw the first stage of Arena Commander's rework pushed to game dev. Now, all development teams have the new front end, lobby systems, racing tracks, and more. Oh, wow. Okay. Arena Commander features worked alongside the Planet team to improve LS3 Green, the planet that hosts Horizon Speedway. Updates include a new biome with higher mountains, increased water levels, and beaches to better represent the vast oceans, and in-lore vacation destination. Design began a full rework of Deadford Link Racetrack alongside the finishing work on Old Vanderval. They also completed a pass of all holographic checkpoints to ensure they best represent their areas and environments. Design continued to improve and fix the new Arena Commander front end. All right. Cool. Thank you, DJ. He's here in chat right now. So that's a look at some gates, it looks like. Features, character, and weapon features. Last month, the features team revisited the prone locomotion set, and as several successful mechanics used in the new EVA system could be transferred over. For example, the player character will now roll on the spot instead of spinning around at the hips. And oh, okay, so we'll be able to roll. As the player looks around, the collision shape does not change. This replaces the button press for switching between front and back, and the player can start moving from any prone pose. The player character's pivot has also been moved further forward, which centers the rotation in first-person view closer to the camera and both idle. All right, that's a lot of detail. As part of this, collision shape changes. Main capsule is at the pivot. Yeah, it's a lot of technical talk. As a visual aid, consider this similar to a caterpillar. The end result is much better first-person experience with fewer issues where the character gets stuck on terrain. We love that. That's all we need to know. Team also supported new behaviors around weapon heating. Okay. There's now an option for FPS weapons to overheat, which requires user intervention to restore functionality similar to a reload action. However, before the weapon hits the overheated state, it can change its behavior at various temperature thresholds. For example, the firing rate can increase. The fire mode can change to be to beam type, or the number of projectiles fired in a single shot can increase. That's kind of interesting. Okay. Imagine an FS9 with an increased fire rate and overheating. Gets even crazier. Feature gameplay. In March, the gameplay features team supported the ongoing QATRs for the mining update and the tractor beam. This led to improvements in the tractor beam UX, for example, adding a toggle for on and off rather than press and hold, adding in new augmented reality markers to show the validity of an item to the player wants to attach. That's cool. Team also improved the loot generation debug tools to make it easier to validate loot distribution. Very good, because I think there's a lot of problems with loot distribution. And I've given my feedback on that pretty extensively, and I'm excited to see what they come up with that. Ship refinery work also began. Talk to me. The design intentions were brought up to speed to allow the engineers to start work in the next sprint. Well, okay then. We got some salvage, we got some tractor beams, and we got some ship refinery work going on. That is super exciting. I don't think we're going to see the Expanse, although that may be some of the unannounced ships that are there, although the Expanse is announced. I think we're going to see the refinery on the Starfarer, first and foremost. Mission features. In March, mission features continue to work on the salvage contract missions, adding polish and balance. Package extraction also progressed towards its eventual release. That was the thing that was going to be on the Orison pads, right? We're looking at adding general cargo to mission ships to give players a reason to investigate destroy ships or ships that are in soft death. Very nice. Wow. Guys, that's two things that are on like my checklist, my near-term checklist of like cool stuff that I want to see happen. NPCs, cargo on them, and refinery ships. Like, those are two really big things. The ship escort mission that involves quantum travel progressed. Very cool. The team's current focus is getting all base flow edge cases worked out to understand their dependencies on other teams. Production of a new mission began, currently known as Data Heist, which tasks players with reaching a location and stealing data. A lot of things are happening. I think we have to look at this and go, things are happening, right? We're not seeing significant progress in Star Citizen, but more of the same things that we have. More variety of what we already have is what they're kind of focusing on, because PES server meshing is probably still in the way of really pushing and driving everything like super forward. But every update, like, think about what an update used to look like. Think about like what the 317 to 318 update was. Look at what 318 to 319 looks like now. Look at what 320 can look like based off of some of the things that we're seeing here. Kind of cool. On the law side, the team worked on the ability to defend a ship's interior from trespassers. Another huge update. This includes not automatically adding players to a ship's comm channel unless they're a party member. Whoa! Well, as well as this, a liability system was created to deal with crimes committed with tractor beams. Crazy. Did I skip a paragraph? Oh, they began adding quality of life fixes for 319, including enabling players to see historical data of whether a mission was completed or failed and why. They also modularized, I'm not going to be able to say that word for some reason, the missing persons mission so they can be used more easily by content teams as part of the ongoing initiative to build a more modular system. This includes a new system for attributing blame for the act of defenestration, which is a fancy word for throwing someone out of a window. Okay. Graphics, VFX programming, and Planet Tech. I usually skip a lot of this as well because it's like they just talk about shaders. But look at this one. This one's kind of big. Using physical aids-based melanin controls to add the initial support for customizable makeup and tattoos. Improvements were also made for water reflection, refraction, and fogging. I'm seeing just more like DX11, Gen 12. Meanwhile, the VFX programming team continued their work on quantum travel and fire. Quantum travel effects now rotate correctly based on movement direction. We are not quantuming in a straight line anymore. I imagine the long distance quantum travel will be. It has to be. But that quantum boost, I think, is what they're talking about. I mean, we know it isn't in a straight line, but now the effect will, I guess, look cooler with that. Planetech progressed with water, iterating on the simulation quality. I think we saw some of that. Work on the asteroid system continued too, with the aim of achieving a much more flexible setup for shaping and distribution. Cool. In-game branding, Pyro Gangs, they're working on. They also made a final touch-ups on Invictus launch week and are currently exploring Ruin Station in pursuit of adding new branding elements throughout. Lighting team, Invictus launch week, Colonial Outposts, whatever. Live Tools and Montreal Live Tools team began designing a new module for the Network Operations Center. In the future, this shard management tool will support server meshing by displaying a real-time information about the servers. Okay, so some server meshing stuff that they're going to need on the back end. Cool. Anything working towards server meshing, we like to hear it. Locations. EU locations. More Ruin Station. Looking at new ways for players to traverse. They also progressed with local law offices. We saw that on the sprint report, which was very cool. Cargo elevators are worked. This is great news. Cargo elevators were worked on alongside the USPU team. Last month, locations prototyped elevators and how they will work in various scenarios. We got a cargo update in 3.18. Then we got silence, right? Then we got like nothing. This is the first that I've heard that they've like continued on with cargo elevators and are continuing on with the cargo refactor. They have not finished the cargo refactor. They just refactored one SCU boxes. That's it. They have so much to do, and cargo elevators is a big part of that. I do, we did get a sneak peek last week of the 32, 24, 16 SCU size boxes. And, I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. Mission features, they had platforms. Okay, this we also saw in the sprint report, the new platforms that are like hotels, basically, are being made. The EU Sandbox team created non-airlock outposts entryways and will be used in Pyro's breathable atmospheres. Okay. They're currently tidying up the underfloor areas for outpost modules for use in stealth gameplay. We need AI to react properly to have proper stealth gameplay. Everything's stealth gameplay right now. Design is almost finished with markup for Content Pack 2, and it'll be moving on to pieces for Content Pack 3. Okay. March EU Sandbox 2 continued their work on the underground facilities, which we did see in a recent episode of Inside Star Citizen. Finally, the Organics team progressed with Rocky Caves. Cool. Narrative shifted back to the upcoming patch. They worked closely with various design teams and owners to develop salvage, investigation, mining, and some of the new ones that have yet to be announced. They were announced up top in the mission section. They were announced. Maybe there's even more, though. Pyro Narrative revisited some scientific lore. Okay, I mean, whatever about Pyro lore, to be honest. Put out Pyro, and then I'll care about Pyro lore. In March, the online services team focused on hot fixes. Yes, there's lots of things. Systemic services and tools. ASOP terminal, cargo, gym issues. Team began R&D for a service beacon architecture update. Okay, they also made progress on character creation service. So lots of stuff going on there. UI. I only slept an hour, so if you guys notice me like slurring a lot, that's what that is. Screen mock-ups and concepts along with ideas for in-world displays. Several artists and some of the UI tech team worked on the new visor and lens set up for Squadron 42, which will eventually make its way to the PU. I think that's going to be the quote of 2023, which will eventually make its way to the PU. UI tech helped improve the VMA data download speeds and improved the underlying loadout system for Arena Commander and Star Marine. They also made incremental tools, improvements to several areas, includes text edit bars, scroll bars, hollow volumes, whatever. And then VFX. I don't really see anything here. They're still working on those libraries that we've been seeing for the last few months. So that is the monthly report. I think the highlights are definitely, you see the mission team coming up with tons of different types of missions, all very similar, but go here, do some things. But those things are all slightly different. And I think that that's kind of cool. Cargo is highlighted. And what else may I have missed here that was really, really exciting? Ship refineries were mentioned. And I think the FPS weapon overheat thing is pretty cool as well. Arena Commander work. I'm very much looking forward to racing in Arena Commander versus the PU. Racing in the PU is kind of punishing. And, yeah, a really good monthly report, in my opinion. You guys made it seem like I was going to be upset by the monthly report for some reason. I guess you guys are just hoping that I'm upset about things because you love drama or whatever. But that was a pretty good monthly report. I think the next few months, if they are delivering 318.1, 318.2, 319, and 320 over the next 6 months, it sounds like there's going to be some fun stuff to check out. At this point, it sounds that way. What 318.1 will be? Yeah, 320. They mentioned 320 on Star Citizen Live or Inside Star Citizen, one of the two. So 320 is like a confirmed patch. It's not 318 and then 4.0. So, yeah. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. What excited you? Anything different from what excited me? But I am hyped for some of this stuff.